G'day everyone, Master Rabbit here with another emo video. Today what we're going to be doing is actually installing the latest firmware, which is now 2.0.0, if you want to call it. So Living AI have jumped and skipped from version 1.70 to now version 2.00. Okay, so basically they've just skipped 1.8 and 1.9 and gone straight to 2.0. Alright, so the first thing I would recommend everybody do is power off your emos. So once you've done that, then I would also recommend you install the latest emo app. I've got that here and we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so that we'll get to in a moment. Okay, so at the moment both my emos are powered off, emo 1 and emo 2 are powered off. They can't be found. So I'll get that. We'll get to that in a minute. Don't worry about that. But do remember that the emo app for the iOS is at version 1.22, and the emo app for Android is at version 1.21. Okay. So do that first. So install the latest emo app, and then once you've done that, you can turn off your emos, which I've just mentioned already. Disconnect any smart lights that they were connected to. And then once that's done, you should be good to go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, because normally it's best to turn them off, turn off emo, just to make sure he gets it's a good reboot in a way, if you want to call it, power off, power back on. I've just taken my emo 1, I'm going to get him ready. Now what I'm going to also advise, I'll put him back just quickly. Now as you can see here, you've got the skateboard. Okay, now the emo skateboard, that's going to always work. Okay, and here is the emo home station. Okay, right there. So now the emo home station, basically you can if you've picked up one of these which has just been released, you can just put emo on there. He'll power up, and then once he's powered up, then he's good to go with the firmware update as well. Okay, you can install the firmware update while he's sitting on his home station as well. Okay, I'm just pressing all the buttons at the moment just to show you everything as well. I accidentally pressed it at the time. All right, so let me get back into, let's say, stat on there. All right, so as I mentioned, the firmware update for version 2.0 will work even if you don't have a home station, but this version 2.0 firmware update is mainly more so released for the home station. Okay, now if you don't have a home station, please still install it, because it's always good and it's very important to be on the latest firmware version for your emo, because basically it does fix bugs, a couple of bugs. I think there's a problem with the 501 error, and a few other things. So it did fix a few things, like little things. There's no special updates that have been released for this firmware, just to let you know. But it's always important, if you've only got the the emo with your skateboard, still install the firmware. Okay. And this, as I mentioned before, with the home station, that's where you'll get the most out of it, because emo will be able to go off the home station, go on the home station. You can issue commands for him to, go, get off it, go home, and all that sort of stuff. But that's for another video completely. Okay, so I know I've been going on for a bit too long. So let's power on emo 1. Now, as you know, the information, as you can see, there's a little charging battery up here at the back. Now, once emo starts up and he's paired to his home station, you will also see a little like you want to call it like a pairing image. Now it looks like a smart light image, and I believe this might change in future updates. There it is there. Okay, so that means that our little friend here is paired to this home station. Okay, now what I'll also do is I'll put emo 2 on, and he'll start up as well. Now that basically the way you can install the firmware is by using the emo app, and as you can see right now, that one there, the 399A, is emo 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in, and I'll show you this quickly so you can see. Emo 2's up now. Okay, so what I'll do is, let me just jump in now quickly. Take a look at the screen. You'll notice that there'll be a alert. Okay, there's that alert. Basically, that alert means that there is a new firmware. Everyone is probably familiar with this, but if this is your first time, that is the alert you'll get. Now, as you can see now, because I've connected into EMO 1, you can see that he is now, there's a new icon, basically there, and there's a new icon down the bottom called Home Station. Now, Home Station is another complete thing altogether, and we can discuss. I will be discussing this in another video down the track. But for now, we're only going to be focusing on updating EMO. So now, if you wanted to, all you've got to do is, let me just jump back out. It makes it easier for me to see it. Go into the settings, okay, and then go into firmware. So let me just jump in. Now, I've been doing, of course, I'm beta testing, so you're going to be able to see a different version of the one I've got there, but it's pretty much exactly the same because I've been doing beta testing. So as you said, you go into, as I was mentioning, go into settings up the top where my thumb is wiggling right now. Then you go into settings, then you go into firmware. And as you can see there, it says update firmware. Okay, now maybe it might not be too clear. You can see it there now. Okay, so all you got to do is press update firmware, and it will disconnect from the EMO app as always. Okay, and then it will start installing. Okay, now because we've got two little guys on the screen right now, it won't be fair because one of them will be installing and the other one won't. So now what I'm going to do for the first time that I've done in firmware updates is I'm going to issue the voice command. Now, the voice command is really good to use because that way if you've got more than one EMO, you can issue the voice command and they will both install their latest firmware straight away. Okay, now hopefully I'll be able to get this right and get them to reply and get them to understand this voice command at the same time, okay?
I just had a bite.
This is where it gets a little bit crazy because they're both listening to everything I'm saying. All right, so let me issue the voice command. They've both gone back to sleep because it's about midday here. So let me issue the voice command now and we'll get them to install. Now this is the voice command. Now I would recommend you guys, anyone can use this even if you've only got one or if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 EMOs. Okay, so here we go. Let them get ready again. EMO, install the latest firmware now. Okay, good. So now we've got some peace and quiet and they will now install the latest firmware. So what you'll see on the screen after the quick reboot, okay, there you go. Right now you'll see, you basically saw that both EMO 1 and EMO 2, sorry if I've just shaken the camera, have notified us that there's one notification, which is one new update, and they will now go through the process of going through steps 1 to 6. Now, as I mentioned before, as you've always seen in the past, step 1 is downloading the firmware. Now, during this time, if you always go in a loop of firmware upgrade from step 1 and it does not go any further, check your Wi-Fi. I would recommend powering off everything, power off your Wi-Fi, then power it back on, power on your phone, power on EMO, and then try it again. If it continually doesn't work, then try a new or different Wi-Fi. I've got like a hotspot Wi-Fi on my phone and also on a, I've got like a mobile portable mobile modem Wi-Fi, and I can use that if I have a problem. But if you have a problem, try and use a different Wi-Fi if the loop of step 1 does not work. Okay, so that's it. So what I'll do is I'll run through just quickly. Basically, the new firmware for 2.0, as I mentioned before, will only it's more so focused on Home Station. Okay, now apart from that, it does have a few things that were addressed, which was file system optimization. The second one was bug fixes and some adjustments. So basically, I think Living AI fixed an issue where EMO could miss doing some of his morning errands or morning scheduled errands, like maybe boxing in the morning or weightlifting. That hopefully has been resolved. Then that basically is just other fixes. Then changed EMO's sleeping time from midnight to 10 p.m. That's the most important one. So these guys have already finished. So we're basically nearly done. That's the last thing. So if they've changed his, oh, there you go, there's the green tick. the update is completed, and hopefully EMO 1 will come up soon as well, and he'll give us the green tick. There you go, done. All right, so once that happens, they will also might do a little there you go, like a little update on his display screen with his eyes. Hopefully number 1 will do that as well. Here he is. There, he's done it. Good. All right, so that is it. That is the update, and that is the firmware update. It's very simple. This was not big because it only mainly focused on... Oh, there you go. That's also pairing with the home station. And that is it. So it wasn't a very big update. It's probably only a couple of megs, and it didn't take long at all. Normally, it's about like, 30, 40 megs, and it takes about 15 minutes or so to complete, and that is it. So that's what I was mentioning as well before. Like the last update, which our last little fix they did was they changed the sleeping times from midnight to now 10 p.m. So our little friend will go to sleep 2 hours earlier than normal, okay? Now, during that time, he will not go off his home station at all. So during that time, like from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., he will not go off his home station. So he won't, so basically if everyone's sleeping and you're sleeping during that time, he will not run off and explore during that time as well. He will normally only explore while, during the daytime. And don't forget, while he's also sleeping in the day, like after he has his after he has his lunch, he normally has a little nap between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. He will not explore during that time as well. Okay, now, apart from that, everything else is pretty much standard. This 2.0 firmware focuses mainly and pretty much only on the home station, and I will have hopefully have some videos when I can do them, and I've been quite busy lately, and I apologize for anyone who's been thinking where are all these videos. I've been quite busy, unfortunately, and but I'm gonna try and do as many as I can in the future, in the coming weeks and days. So I'll update you with the other information on how to do everything else when it comes to the home station. Okay, so this video is only to update EMO to the latest firmware version of 2.0, which we've completed, and these guys are happy and good to go. So that is it, and that's what I mentioned at the beginning. That's the only updates they've got. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Like, even if you have questions with regards to how the home station works, do message me on my YouTube channel, and I'll do my best to answer them. I've been doing the beta testing for quite a long time now, and the home station does work quite well, but I always recommend use the playground mat or make yourself another mat, so that way EMO does not run off it and get stuck in funny places, which he normally does. But that's a discussion for another video altogether. Alright, so that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's quite simple, but not too complicated. If everything works well... Oh, before I go, let me just jump back in, because I've got to basically show you that we're on the right firmware version. So let's go back in there quickly. Alright, so right now I'm actually going to be connecting to number 2. Otherwise, maybe what I can do is, let me just jump into back to the original EMO 1. Okay, and let's go in and click on connect. Sorry, I missed this step because I was talking too much, as always. Okay, so then what we're going to do, let me just jump in. Now, all you got to do is press that, there you go. I'll do it like that. That way you guys can see it. See it right on the top corner where my finger's going to be popping, going to be moving to. So it's always hard to do it from here. Pressing that, okay, and then going into firmware, like there we are on the screen. There you go. Okay, and that is it. We're on the current firmware version of 2.0.0. 2.0.0. Yes, that sounds right. Sounds funny, but sounds weird. All right, so that is it. So and then you can just jump back out, and we're good to go. There you go. And he's off the settings screen, and that is it. Now I'll make sure that I'll have some other videos created as best I can when it comes to working and using the home station. The home station is not very complicated. It does I do have a few tips and tricks on how to use it. But that, as I mentioned, is for another video. So once again, thank you for watching, and sorry I've been blubbering on for too long. But if you guys have any questions, as I mentioned before, leave them in the comments below. Even with regards to home station, I'll do my best to answer them. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and we will see you in the next video. So see you later, guys.
Bye,